Hello, Northstar here with another Rebel Inc. Let's Play. Finishing getting every governor brutal on the first 5 maps for a Steam achievement. Then I'll be moving on to other achievements I haven't done yet. Some much harder than this actually, including mega brutal runs, campaign runs, etc. Um, Distant Steppe with the Warlord, I guess. I'm feeling a little warlordy. Why not? Mm. Oh, coffee. With my long COVID, my energy levels are abysmal, so I'm needing a lot of caffeine just to be even decently alert. For those who haven't heard the story of this, we're starting from the very beginning here. I probably don't have many returning viewers, especially on this series, which too often gets clicks out to right wingers who then decide not to watch again. So I'm Northstar. I'm disabled with long COVID. I actually got disabled long COVID right when I was on the verge of starting an MD. For those non-Americans, that's a little different the way medical training is done in the U.S. versus many countries. I'm an American. Um, in some countries, you kind of go right out of high school. In the U.S., it's right after undergrad usually, but it's possible to do more indirect, circuitous routes. Like I did a master's after undergrad because I only decided to become a pre-med my senior year of undergrad and I need more time to prepare. I started applying to med school soon after grad school, though, after that first master's. But I was kind of screwed in a number of ways, including that the program I was doing, the master's, shut down while I was in it, and I did graduate, but lack of alumni connections, I ended up straying in a rural area, unable to get to where there were jobs in my field, biology. Um, no money to do that, it's I'd worked on grad school, I'd saved, but I just borrowed less than student loans by being very frugal and working instead of borrowing a normal amount. I borrowed a less than normal amount of student loans per year, and so I didn't have a lot of money in my bank account because I was being frugal because I've been taught to be wary of getting into too much debt. I thought, oh, that's fine. I'll apply. I had family promises telling me to move to major urban area, and I would apply to jobs in that area, but then family Ned did that, and I'm like, okay, well, I'll apply to companies in these cities anyways and ask for relocation assistance or at least help getting out to interviews. And then they like laughed at me because they would do that for their top recruits from other countries often. There's a certain elitism in it that if you're American, you ought to be able to afford this. And then when I applied to med schools, there's a certain elitism looking down at, someone doing jobs that kind of suck unrelated to medicine because even though I trained as an ENT before, that had expired while I was in grad school and had time to keep up with the continuing ed. I didn't even realize you could recertify by exam at that point, or I would have probably done it. No one told me I was in student MS, and I actually got bullied by a person in charge of it in grad school. A guy who, well, he wasn't in charge when I joined, but he ended up becoming the president of the organization a year in, and they started targeting, bullying me. I actually liked the guy who was in charge when I joined. Um, I'd been in student mess before as an undergrad and really liked the people there. I didn't, but everything is who's in charge of a particular student organization. Just because student mess is great when you're undergrad doesn't mean it will be. Anyways, grad school, but where I was in the rural area, only really experienced EMTs who worked for a while in a major urban area could usually get jobs. So I couldn't just like go take an EMT course. Not to mention it would have cost money. So I worked some shitty jobs unrelated to medicine, or actually very tangential related, but not to any substantial degree. The work I did, and cashier for something that was, anyways, vaguely related at like a pharmacy. And so med schools like were pricks about that, and there are other issues. But anyways, I worked hard, didn't give up. Eventually saved up money, moved to a major urban area, took an EMT course, started working as an EMT in that major urban area where there were more jobs. Then I had a coworker. I had a couple ways to move forward, either to a better EMT company, but they asked you to commit to working for them for 2 years. Or I had one coworker who wanted me to go do that, and another who was doing applying to special master's programs and really wanted. It's just I applied to one, so I did. I took that guy's advice because I wanted to just get to med school, not kind of commit to being an EMT the rest of my life. Um, did get into the more prestigious, the two special master's programs I applied to, which I've tried to figure it out. I think the issue was an email I sent to the other one when they asked for more information was a little prickly. I was having a bad day, I think, and it came across prickly without meaning to, and they probably just decided based on that not to admit me. Of course, their application process was poorly designed. The more prestigious one, a better designed process, like online, application portal thing. So they didn't need to ask for information. Honestly, the less prestigious place should have just had a better portal, and they wouldn't have needed to ask for this info. Anyways, so I went to special masters. I also decided if I was going to school anyways, take another degree that would also help me get jobs if I didn't get into med school. Say I didn't get high enough grades in special masters, because you need to do well academically to be competitive for med schools. Special masters are like these programs where you take. There's two ways. They can either be like upper level undergrad material, or they can actually be like the big first year of med school material, a portion of it usually. So this particular program took about 2/3 of the first year of an MD, stretched out over a whole year, so slower paced, gave extra tutoring and stuff for the people who are struggling. Took these courses. There was some elective ability to design your program, which I actually took some of the harder things you could elect that I thought would be more relevant to what I want to do as a physician. Got straight A's in the program. It was in my second year, which I know I would have been done with the classes if I hadn't added on the second program. So it was all the classes for the second degree and just working research for the first. Still getting straight A's. Then the COVID pandemic was winding down at that point, but they were starting to reopen too quickly. I had a roommate who got COVID on a business trip, didn't quarantine in place like he should have, had never been listening to me when I told you can get COVID more than once. I'd had COVID once before. It took me 3 whole months to make a full recovery. So it was a rough recovery. I'm like, dude, you can't do this. At the very least, you could derail my academics. I tried telling him for a whole year before that, but he ignored me. He came back with COVID, and instead of taking 3 months to recover when he gave me COVID, I never got better. I got long COVID, which is going on 5 years now. It's been more than 4, and it's working towards 5 years. It's a little more than 4 years. It's like 4.1, 4.2 years. I had long COVID, and I've been disabled the whole time and never gotten better. It's a post-viral condition, so it's like, I cleared the virus, but my health has been really bad ever since. And so my dreams of becoming a physician crushed. Wasn't able to finish my special masters. Wasn't able to graduate with the, these programs, the straight 4.0s I've been earning. And this guy actually was former like army, like kind of special operations stuff. He wasn't special forces, but like I think a mix of like military intelligence, and he may have been doing something more secret and he didn't want to say. But so that sometimes comes up when I play this game. That's the almost 8-minute version of it, and that's the longest I want to take of your guys' time. But yeah, I'm a critic of imperialism. I became, when the pandemic broke out, even before I got infected, and I saw how badly it's being handled because I'd had a background in viruses from my first graduate degree. I got a chance to study under a world expert in pandemics, so I knew that the government was not behaving appropriately. What a little time passed to slightly reduce the. You know what? I want to keep the initiatives vertical. See, this is $9 if I do service discussions. Still $9. There we go. Uh, right. So I became a cynic of imperialism well before this U.S. imperialism, but it's ironic because at one time I'd been Army ROTC and much more gun ho about America, but I came to realize a lot of stuff I'd been told about the country, why we're in these various foreign wars and stuff was a lie, of course, but time as an ROTC I was starting to see it was full of lies. I just thought I would go in and try and reduce casualties, prevent war crimes if I saw any, keep the young dumbasses from getting shot. Like these kids, they're like fresh out of high school and they go enlist in the military. Poverty draft partly. And some of the officers, some of the people who become army officers are just completely incompetent and get them killed. 500,000 march against Venezuela. Bloody A. Yeah, that was the whole U.S. No, wait, this is 2002. This wasn't the U.S. support. This is when the socialists came to power. Got rid of the right-wing puppet government and put in the socialists who ruled now for 22 years. Although they've actually been prevented from actually turning Venezuela into a socialist economy. People think it's socialism or communism. Like, Venezuela, no iPhone. No, it's actually a capitalist economy with a socialist ruling party that has been blocked from making the reforms they want to make. Because it's still a democracy, despite U.S. claims and attempts to isolate it. And there is still an electoral process. So the socialists make up the majority of government, but I think the anti-socialists, they're like doing the quote of filibustering or something. They have, through electoral legislative processes, prevented actual implementation of a socialist agenda there. This is the great irony of people saying it's proof of the failure of socialism. It's literally not socialism. It's a government that has been prevented from doing socialism by internal dissent. Earthquake devastates western Iran. How is that a blue event? Gambling games banned in Greece. Floods in China. Forced evacuation of 600,000. Science reveal ozone hole shrunk. Library in Bravo Victor. Huh. I was trying to pause it and I was accidentally, because I had the feed open. I guess just school supplies. It rolls out quick. It's good to alternate civilian and government initiatives. See, too many of a type in a row, you get really high inflation increases, more than if you alternate. Already up to 18% inflation, so. This doesn't actually do anything other than decrease support, so yeah, pulse their work, get these initiatives rolled out faster. Alright. Core healthcare, it's probably not going to fall $3 in reasonable time, so do it now. Expand healthcare, $3. Cool. Doing that because this is going vertical. I don't think it rolls out unless at least the first level of healthcare, core healthcare, is starting to roll out. It doesn't have to be finished, but it has to have started first, I think. Could be wrong. Personal health care program is a little less affected by inflation, too, so should be able to get this in semi-reasonable time. Semi-reasonable keywords. Let's do international assistance while I wait for civilian initiatives to become worthwhile. Takes a while to actually get the civilian assistance. There we go. Personal health program. But yeah, something I was thinking about recently, how history is written by the victors. I don't think people maybe they kind of know what that means, but they don't really apply it to their lives. I mean, it means the version of events that we get are often biased, dishonest, written in ways that favor those who came out on top in history. And so when you hear an official narrative of something that happened, especially something politically relevant to the current ruling elites, you should always assume you're being lied to. You should always assume, the version of, say, why we went into Iraq or Afghanistan is a lie. And the more contentious, let me put it this way, the more likely that it is that this could undermine the current elites, the more likely that you're being lied to. If the more likely that it could undermine elites if a different version of events than the current one being told were accepted. Heck, I'll just do water supplies. The interpreters and guides soon, but inflation is a little out of control. Here, too? Really? What a... I can't wait for this to come down to $1. Yeah, I know about the surprise attack. More concerned about Bravo Whiskey being taken over. Could be a camp somewhere around here. Could be in Delta Kilo, worst case. Alright, national soldiers. Ah, found the camp. Good. Before it does much more damage. Alright, I think I can afford to do water expansion then. Or here, media office. Need effective procurement. Does increase inflation a little though, and I think most costs go up too. Is this so I can be sure to drive these guys towards the forest eventually? Otherwise, I have a game of them moving all through this territory that's... Plus, this is close to the HQ. Shares prepared to help. $4 for limit access? No, funding only. The Lord. Okay. Need garrisons as soon as possible, because they are a source of money for the Warlord. $6 for a garrison? Eesh. They're going here. I can actually trap and destroy them. And they can go in there. Alright, and blockades, because I need the money. Garrisons can provide as soon as possible. It's a lot of insurgents, but they'll all be destroyed. All 4 of them. Cool. Actually, I need to get corruption under control. Those guys are dead. Improved access to healthcare. Celebrated. Alright, basic sanitation. Still need more civilian support. So we need telecoms soon on this map. One thing at a time now. Time for national troops. That's why I did the anti-corruption, because I knew it was going to get a lot of problems. Yeah, I know they dislike the coalition troops. Not gonna much like me anyhow. It's the Warlord. Alright, I need people to defend Charlie Whiskey. So we'll get the troops there as soon as I can. And corruption 4. It's at 64% corruption. Yep, already moving in here. About to. It's near the province border. PR and media office time. They can retreat into an area where I have a soldier if they don't have intel. Shoot. That's the problem. $5 for the next garrison. I have to take these guys out because I can't let them control any of the forest. So I'm going to suffer enough rep loss just at the mountains. If they start controlling the forest, I'm be catastrophic reputation loss. I'm just going to need to drive them out of this salient. The mountains here, Foxtrot Lima. Troopers and guides. Need faster intel. Looks like I'm just gonna drive those insurgents all the way into there. Alright. Well. Yeah, I know they control a bloody number of connected zones. Corruption Purge 1. So I desperately have to get corruption under control. So I need money for more coalition troops, probably. Reputation is hard on this map, so I'm going to have to send the coalition soldiers home. Really? It came right back there. Need security checkpoints to slow the capture of Echo Mike. All right. National travel logistics. I need to get infrastructure discussion soon. I can wait for corruption. Inflation to come down a little. Suppose. You know, it might not actually come down from this cost. Oh. There's always national arms upgrade. It takes a second for this to come active anyways, doesn't it? Need money for coalition troops and bonuses for the Warlord soldiers. I think that these troops actually making the population hate them more. Oh no, it's because of the nearby red zones. Yeah, I'll do anti-ID vehicle upgrades. Trying to increase pay. Opportunity to increase pay of these guys. Trying to up the national soldier strength so I can push on these mounds. If I can't push while the reputation loss is too quick, I'll lose that way. Garrison here. $6 for a bonus. I might get the money. They're about to attack here. Yep, and then I can avoid Triumvirate Eye, which will cost me a reputation due to corruption. I can also simulate protests. Actually winning here. Nice. Sure, let's grab some coalition troops. Some more. Gotta keep pushing. I can wait on that. Actually, I don't think you can start the timer for another one of these until I make a decision on this, so I can buy a little time. Sun here. You can support these guys if they're attacked. Worry about attacking the save engine. I'm not sure, but I think the troops might actually upset the locals, even the national, when you play as the Warlord. So, yep. I don't want airstrikes. Oh, here's none of these events. Oh well. I don't want to instantly increase insurgent capabilities. Right, probably better I put that off a little, because airstrikes can hit civilians. It also affects funding levels, reputation. All right. I need security. The local police recruitment does increase corruption some, but corruption's gotten to reasonably low levels now. Airstrike hit civilians, bloody A. Let's do local police expansion. High zone security. Can also help prevent camps from popping up in random places. Let's try and break these insurgents into two groups. since they get bonuses controlling a lot of connected territory. Just a lack of jobs. Surprisingly, not infrastructure stuff that people are upset about as much. Well, they want telecoms too. I do development banks so we can get remote subsidies. Speed up rollout of initiatives in remote areas. Starting to suffer a lack of stability again. The office areas should be stable any second now. Speed that up with civil support, since there is a garrison there. Ton of money, so turn a blind eye. Got protests. Darn it, that's increased hostility. Corruption as well. I'll wait on that because it does increase corruption. Foreign Relations Office, just a little. Probably corrupt contracts being made with foreign NGOs and corporations. So pressure won't work, but like then instead of doing this strike, which would antagonize the rival and cause them to increase their support for insurgents in the long run. Right. Grab Coalition Soldiers 3. Start pulling those in. I think I can do this without it counting as defeat. Yeah, because I didn't have intel there, and though there's probably camp there. Subsidies. And how about the lack of telecoms? Concerned about my lack of support in these remote zones. Structure discussions though for telecoms. Waiting long enough. Getting overly concerned about inflation. It's not that big a deal. Right. Lack of stability again. blind eye there because I need the money. It's the last time I do it, though. Universal justice, which prevent me from doing it again, but it seems that the ward suffers really bad, I mean exceedingly bad ability and support in certain zones randomly picked unless they have the universal justice, so you pretty much have to do it. I can still turn a blind eye without causing hypocrisy, whatever. Getting accused of hypocrisy. Does hurt my reputation a tiny bit, effectively. Sergeant recruitment bonus, that's great. I need the money for a variety of things. Cleaning dirt roads. I'm worried about the bottom left corner of the map. Stretched a little thin. Right, I need to push in there. Sergeant's still too many control, too many zones. There's no reason to leave him more territory at this point. There's not many troops there. Then the sergeants. Some were destroyed running away there. No, these guys need to stay put. Boom. Boom. Boom, because you can't leave coalition troops in one place too long. Put this off, I'm going to need more coalition troops. Especially because I can't extend deployments. Huh. I do need the high money event to increase national soldier strength. Probably need one of those. Eventually. I can punish deserters for now. A little more. Oh, bloody A. Really? Roll outreach because a little extra money to spend, and telecoms are still not rolling out quick enough. I'll pay the money because I'm in a better situation financially and still haven't gotten the high money event. Go here. Can support, but also move in here if it becomes necessary. Garrison, yes, please. Rapid air rotation, because that fight's going poorly. Let's explore these zones, looking for camps I might have missed. Take civil assistance. Whoa. Okay, yeah, that probably means there's a camp nearby. I need more coalition troops to deal with this. Train system. Still not getting intel fast enough. Foxtrot Oscar. Makes all soldiers gather intel faster. Cool. Let's keep poking my corner into this corner just in case of camps. And they haven't found one yet. One doesn't pop soon. Got lucky with that. Keeping these guys as long as possible to help roll out the initiatives there. Telecoms too, because in this map people really like telecoms. Gotta send them home though. Really need the high funding event. Let's do strategic communications. Faster support game without needing to roll anything out, so it's instant. Shoot, they keep popping up here in Echo Kilo. Insurgents. Some integration for, I think, more aid to initial rollout and less loss of support from the militia. Jeez, people are hating them even with that. Foxtrot Kilo. Probably because not enough jobs. Guess land rights then. So we have a 2% effect on support, though, according to that. This area's about to get attacked, I fear. How'd they... Ah! Pull back there. This had a unit on. Doesn't make any sense. Looks like they're gonna pull back there. Go there. Alright, we'll just pick up surveillance drones. Let me find camps faster. At least decrease insurgent numbers if they can't build camps without getting airstruck. These guys haven't been dealt with. Yeah. Shoot. This warlord to decrease corruption. So room for one warlord in town. From the military, finally. Sensors for log stove. These guys might need support. Some serious insurgent numbers. Ooh. That's rough. They're doing fine. Pressure on arrival. Camp here, really? I need rapid air rotation. I have to kill that quick. Looks like they're headed here, though. Troops there. Worst case camp corner. Alright, let's grab export agencies for more support. These guys have to pull back. Constant airstrikes hitting civilians. This guy's home. Main roads. The rules engagement. I've had too many civilian casualties. It's the last coalition troops home. It's just the nationals now. Full reform on women's rights. Another garrison, more money. Putting these guys here to maintain security in Delta Mike. Case of camps. These guys around just to make sure I detect any camps that do pop quickly. I'm a little wary of corruption increase, but I should probably fund charity now. Maybe not. Wei can lose his military. Hope we're all at the community land or ownership awarding. Award. Alright. Score precision munitions to reduce some civilians there. Mobile phone networks see seismic growth. Pay bonus. At this point, I got more money I know what to do with. National troops are plenty strong. So it worries about corruption that stop me from rolling out more stuff. Although I think I can do democratic transition now. Actual elections don't happen for a while. Let's grab remote outreach too. Female pilot makes headlines. Dirt roads too. This guy's a bonus. National soldiers are basically mercenaries, really highly paid. For those of you who've watched my Mount and Blade Warband Let's Play series, so you're talking about mercenaries. I'm going to be acting as a mercenary soon in that Let's Play series. If I fund the military, I could probably push in here. Wipe out all the 14's insurgents. This is going to be a very hard battle. Alright. Let's give it a shot. Keep looking for camps that might pop up where I don't want them. Against women's rights laws. I want to encourage the critics, but it can increase corruption. So my corruption go a little lower because corruption is below a certain magic threshold. You don't lose a rep to it. Nice. $10 bonus. It's insanely high. Plan elections, gain rep costs money. Budget is $71 though. I really shouldn't care that much now. Alright. Probably because all the foreign-owned corporations operating in this area. Sweatshop labor. Taking advantage of the population kind of thing. Yeah, I'm a cynic, if you guys can't tell. Let's do precision munitions too, in case a camp does appear in the green zone. I would want to hit civilians. Electricity 1 helps everything else roll faster. It's actually going to take a lot to stabilize any of these zones. Highways 1 speeds up niches where there are highways. Keep throwing the insurgents. Pretty much seeing how high I can get my reputation at this point. Local pistachios here in national markets. Our national supply deal has been struck, and products in the region will now be available for export, boosting the economy. Worth noting, this was a campaign. Whatever, when you win reputation funds, you have to get distributed to other regions, although there's something to be said for completing 4,200 huge explosion at a restaurant in Japan. There's something, of course, this is pushing the war on terror nonsense. I mean, has it been identified as an explosion caused by terrorism? No, but it might have been, but it's being portrayed in a way that's leaves that unknown. Polio eradication. This works well. Reducing hostility. Which is a ton of in Foxtrot Mike. But yeah, it's not necessarily worth drawing up, seeing how you can get rep and money. Because if you're doing a campaign, you can get a map that's very tough, and you'd actually rather have extra funds and rep sooner rather than later. Slightly increased support levels. A museum. Guess I'm not that worried about corruption anymore. It's at 29%. Alright. Tuberculosis eradication. Elections due to be held. Let's get highways too. Even faster initial rollouts. Urban outreach too. Also helps with initial rollout speeds. Eliminate tuberculosis in the cities, which is historically where tuberculosis gets, I guess you could say, most entrenched in the cities. It's very much a disease that thrives in crowded environments. So historically, the urban poor, particularly during the Industrial Revolution, when you had people being crammed like 9 people to an apartment, because people think that that's just a third world thing. That was some cities like New York City when the Industrial Revolution came to the U.S. Immense wealth was being generated, but it was all going to the very, very rich, because capitalism does not distribute resources efficiently. So I gave up on capitalism right when I saw how the pandemic was being mishandled. And at that point, I became a socialist. Or rather, I said, frick, I'm going to identify as one. And then I started learning and developing my theory. You know, you can always go back from a choice, but it became more and more obvious that there are an immense number of lies we're told about capitalism and about socialism, and that was the right choice. And in fact, I should have taken it much sooner. I just wasn't open-minded enough. I was raised very conservative, so, you know. But if I can do it with my upbringing, anyone could if they would just open their mind and take some time to do some research. Read some of what socialists have said. I read excerpts from Das Kapital, for instance, which people read the Communist Manifesto and think they understand Marxism. No. The Communist Manifesto is a tiny little thing. It's meant to cram some ideas into a very short space, and because of how short the space is, it can't give, how would I say it, an accurate depiction of ideas. If you want an accurate depiction of what socialism represents, you need to read at least parts of Das Kapital. There's no question about that. That's kind of the cornerstone Marxist book. And that, and mind you, Das Kapital is not one book, actually. It was written in multiple volumes. 3 or 4? I forget if Engels wrote a 4th one after Marx died. It was finished by Engels, but it was started by Marx, and he wrote the first one entirely. And I think Engels started helping him in the second because Marx's health was declining. Let's pay off both sides in this. You know what? Dismiss yeah, I've got money to increase corruption, but I do a corruption purge. Bring corruption down. Got the money for it. Time for peace talks. It's gone too bloody long. I can hardline it to gain more reputation. Insurgent parties banned. There's a tiny chance a Sergeant Camp will pop up even a green zone, though, if they're antagonized enough. Sergeants hand in all weapons. Crop development. Prison all insurgent leaders. Remote outreach 2 to actually roll stuff out fast enough. Surgeons apologize. Let's do industrial support. Support in the cities. Now your support level increases your score at the end. I'm curious to see how high I can get that. And further concessions. Cultural logistics now. Jobs protest ends. Really? It took funding every single jobs initiative to do that? Literally every single initiative. Ridiculous. Okay, and advanced sanitation. Pretty sure there's another one more concession available. Did I get the question of coalition forces in? I don't think I did. I'm just going to do a regional census because it does help you find surgeon camps that they pop up in a green zone faster this way. New power station, improve. With oversight, increase support. I'll roll this out. And I've stabilized the zone. Let's blackmail journalists. Do a civilian shakedown. Reject the peace deal. Because I am about to win. Alright. 170 reputation. 61% support. Wait, 18,600 score? Oh well. I never understand the score system. Well, anyways, hope you folks enjoyed that. Take care of each other. Be kind to yourselves. May you always find a gangster to lead you home. Until next time, this is Northstar. Adieu, and best luck.